What is up, guys and girls? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're all having fun, and I hope you're all getting out on the water as much as possible. As you see, I'm back in short sleeves, although it's winter, so Reckless Riders is coming at you from El Medano, Tenerife. We're here in our friend's garage / board storage, mini makeshift school, whatever you want to call it. There's a lot of gear in here. And we're here to have another tech talk with you guys. So as you all know, as I've said many times, when anybody comes to Reckless Riders, we try to help them out as much as possible. And one of the things they do is they ask a lot of questions about gear, how everything works, trying to understand it, especially to do with foils. There is so much involved there that it does get confusing, right? So one of the questions we get, and what we're going to talk about today, is the fuselage, right? So how does the fuselage work and what does it do? Now, in our previous video, we talked about the rear wings. I'll put that somewhere up on the top here or here, not sure where it goes, but I'll put it there for you. And we talked about rear wings and how they stabilize your foil through pitch, roll, and yaw. Now, how does the fuselage affect? Now, I got here two fuselages. This is mine, and this is one of my friends. So it's a bit of a longer one here. And as you see, that's the main difference between them. One is shorter, one is longer. There's not much other differences, especially within the same brand, between two fuselages, but you've got a longer and a shorter fuselage here. To put it simply, the longer fuselage would be better for beginners, people starting out and looking for stability, because the longer your fuselage is, the more stable your foil will feel. And the shorter the fuselage is, the more maneuverable and kind of playful your foil will feel. So better for beginners, longer one. Better for advanced, a shorter one. Now, why does that happen? Let's kind of talk about that a little bit. Basically, a longer fuselage, you can think of it in a way of physics, right? The longer it is, the distance between your front wing and your back wing, the more leverage that back wing has over the front wing. And what that does, it basically enhances or lessens all the effects that rear wing would already have. So as we said, a rear wing affects the three axes. So you've got pitch, roll, and the yaw, right? So if you have a longer fuselage, it enhances all these stabilizations on all those axes. So if it helps you understand better, think of it like that. Think of it like, okay, so the longer it is, the more my rear wing will help stabilize the foil. The shorter it is, however, so the closer that rear wing comes to that front wing, the more easy it is to move, and the less it affects the rear wing, less it affects that front wing, so it allows it to be more maneuverable and easy to play around. So in short, long is better for beginners because of extra stability, extra help, less input from the rider needed. And shorter is better for advanced because you need more input from the rider. It allows you to do more aggressive and harder moves, and so on and so on. Now, you might be like, well, there isn't only two sizes of fuselage, are there? And there's not, no. Especially if you go into a company like Axis or you go into their site and check that out, you will see that there is a huge number of different sizes. For example, the black ones, which I know a bit better, I think you've got standard black, then you've got short, ultra short, crazy short, silly short, psycho short. So, you know, that's just within the black fuselage range. Now, I'm not going to explain the difference between the Axis red and black range because that's not why we're here. We're just trying to understand the basics of fuselages. So, as I said, anyway, back to point, there are a lot of different sizes of fuselage. Now, why are there so many sizes? That's because even within, let's go to the short one here, even within an advanced rider's range, so as I said, I ride a crazy short, and even within an advanced rider's range, you can change the length to longer or shorter, also depending on what you're looking for from your foil, what your style is, stuff like that. So what do I mean by that? So when I wing foil, I ride the crazy short, which is around 600 millimeters, right, 60 centimeter fuselage. And that's good because on a wingfoil, when I'm riding, I like to be quite aggressive, play around. I could go smaller, but then it's kind of overkill, right? You don't need that much because you've also got the help of all the other things. But that kind of is the sweet spot for me, which allows me to be quite aggressive, quite maneuverable, quite tight turns if I want to be. I can do big jumps, freestyle, and everything's better. For what I normally do, as you guys probably saw if you follow us on Instagram and stuff, it's a lot of jumps, 360s, aerial tricks, stuff like that. But also wave riding and so on, like tight calves, and that's fine. But if I go out, for example, on my RB2s, which is a more high aspect foil, and I'm wanting to do a bit more pumping and gliding and not so much tight calves, but more just straight line, gliding, going, downwinding, stuff like that, I would take a longer fuselage. So I actually, back home, I use from the crazy short, I go to the ultra short, which is a bit longer, just like that. Now, why is that? It's because, again, a longer one is going to give me a bit more stability, and I don't want to be very tight turns and aggressive anymore. I just want easiness in a straight line, pumping and gliding, which that will be easier with a longer fuselage. You could go even longer than that if you want, but of course there's a range to everything to kind of find the perfect balance. As a beginner, however, in general, you're looking at going with a standard beginner setup, a fuselage like this. You're not going to change much, and you don't need to change very soon either. So you can learn with this, you can progress with this. You could probably change the front wing and the back wing and keep the same fuselage, and then later down the line, when you want to start doing a bit more maybe playfulness with your foil carving and all that, that's when you think about going to a smaller fuselage. So basically, as a beginner, the bigger, the longer, the better. But in the advanced people especially, you will find a big difference between one size and the next one up, and the next one up, depending on what you're doing. And that's why they have these super short ones like silly short, psycho short, all that is usually for maybe kite foilers or pump foilers, prone foilers, stuff like that, that they kind of ride and they're looking for aggressive turns and a bit more aggressive moves. Whereas the more straight orientated and glidey your ride tends to become, the longer you can go on the fuselage and it'd be more comfortable for you. So in short, to put it simply, like we said before, long, nice, good for beginners, stabilizes everything much more. It feels much more comfortable and easy to use. That's why it's good for beginners, and it will take everything your rear wing is doing for you and enhance it. Whereas a short fuselage, easier for advanced riders and better, and you can play within the length depending on your style. And it takes everything your rear wing is doing and kind of doesn't give it as much of a push and lets it be more loose and playful, especially the shorter you go. Now, there are some other differences sometimes in fuselages, and this is not so often you see that, but for those really interested and wanted to find out even more, it also depends where your hole to the mast is. So if your hole is closer to your front wing, it will again allow more maneuverability, more kind of playfulness, because it's bringing that front foil, your big foil, the main thing is bringing it closer to your mast. So it's easier to control it and to push it around. So especially if you're one of these guys that wants to use big, long, high aspect foils, but get all the carviness and kind of playfulness out of that foil that they can, you want one with the mast hole being up close to the front foil as much as possible, and then it extends the back more away from the mast, giving you the same stability and everything, but with more playfulness out of that front part. Now, why do I say this? For example, in Axis, again, if we look at them, and I use them as an example because they have a huge variety of what you can do with nearly all their equipment. This, for example, here is a Crazy Short Advanced fuselage, and you could have a Crazy Short Advanced Plus. The Advanced, they're kind of gone out of production, but I still have an old one here. And then you have just the normal Crazy Short. So the difference would be that the normal Crazy Short, the hole would be here. The Advanced, the hole is 40 mil forwards, and the Advanced Plus, which is now the only one you'd find there with the normal one, and there'd be the Advanced Plus, the hole will be 60 mil forwards. So because it's that like Advanced Rider Plus, what they're doing is they're bringing the hull further forward to give it even more maneuverable, right? So again, the shorter the fuselage will be maneuverable and easy for you to handle and play with, and then the more forward you bring the hull on the mast, if you have that choice on the brand you're using, even more lively and maneuverable your foil will become. Okay, I hope that makes sense. As we said, it's quite simple with fuselages. Longer, easier, shorter, harder, but it depends on your level a lot and what you're looking for. If you did enjoy the video, please drop a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Leave a comment with any question you have about fuselages or anything else. Suggestions about other videos, just to say hi, anything you like. Drop it down in the comments. And of course, don't forget to share the video with any friends you think it might be useful to. And I will see you on the water.